Friends, in today's video we are going to discuss another important topic, that is pivot table. Now we have a set of data here of salesperson and then state and orders and sales. Now first we will see what is pivot table. Pivot table is nothing but it is used for summarizing the data. For example, now we need to see what is the sales of this particular person in this state, so that we can use the pivot table to summarize the data of this particular person, or we can summarize based on this state, or we can summarize even by sales or even by orders. This is the purpose of pivot table, and there are basic things to do before using the pivot table. That is nothing but there should not be any blank columns in between table or any blank rows in between table, because when you are using pivot table, if there is blank rows or columns, it will mess up the pivot table. Next thing is, it is better, I suggest to convert this data set into a table, so that in case in future if you want to update this table, you can just copy paste the data into this table so that it will get extended. And these are the basic things which we have to follow. Now I have converted this data set into this table. Now we will go into the pivot. For that we have to first go into insert and click on this pivot table option. Here you will get the pop-up. Now if you see here, it has been selecting this table 1, that is nothing but the data set, and it is asking us choose where you want the pivot to be placed. It is our wish, we can select the new sheet or the existing worksheet. I will select the existing worksheet. For that we need to give the range where we have to place the pivot table. I will click here and then click OK. Now we have the pivot table here. Now we have to just go and click on this pivot table. Now here we can see, based on our selection, it has given us a summary. Now it is our wish, we can check or uncheck these options. Now first what I will do is, I will place this salesperson in filter. Next I will put this state in this rows column, and then I will just place this orders here and then sales here. If you see here, it has summed up all the Bihar orders into one bucket and Bihar sales into another bucket, and you can select the salesperson here. If I select Rajesh, you can see Rajesh has done sales in these 3 states, and he has an order of so much quantity and he has done the sales. Now we can select another person, and you can see this person has done the sales in these 2 states, and you can select multiple person also at a time. Now I can even interchange this person into rows bucket, and I can put this states into filter. Now I can just select the multiple states which I want to see. For example, I will select Bihar. In Bihar only these 2 persons have done the sales, so that their 2 names are reflecting here. It's not only the sum, we can even count the orders. For that we have to go to this value field settings. Here we have the option of sum, count, average, minimum, large. We can select whatever options we want. Now if I select count, the count of number of orders. Again if I click on sum, you can see the total order sum here. Friends, for presentation purpose, you can insert even chart for this pivot table. For that you have to go and click anywhere in this pivot table and then go and select the chart, so that once you change this pivot data, automatically the chart also changes. Now we'll see how to insert slicer for this pivot table. For that we need to go to insert tab and we have an option called slicer. Just click somewhere in this pivot table and go and click on this slicer option, so that you will get this pop-up. Now we need to select the slicer for this salesperson and state and click OK. Now we can see the slicers here. Now if I select Bihar, automatically the complete pivot and this pivot chart has been controlled by this slicer. Now you can see in Bihar we have only these two person doing the sales. Other 2 person has been grayed out. In the same way, if I click Goa, only Satish has done the sales in this state. Other 3 representative has been grayed out. Now I will unfilter this one. Now if I go and click on this salesperson Ramu, only in these 2 states Ramu has done the sales. Again if I go and click on Varun, only in these 3 states Varun has done the sales. Now if you want to select the multiple salesperson, then hold Control and click on that particular salesperson. Friends, we can create a slicer even for this table. For that I will delete the previous slicers and select anywhere in this table and go to insert tab and click on this slicer. Again select salesperson and state and click OK. Now if I go and click on this Bihar, it is filtered by this Bihar state, and if I click by Ramu, it is filtered by this Ramu. In this way we can create slicer for pivot table and normal table range. That's it guys. You can see a pivot table is nothing but it's used for just summarizing the data as per your requirement. Thanks for watching.